Hi guys, thanks for checking the video out. So there was some sad news last week, or you might consider it not news at all, or maybe you think it's good news, and this is a Tiger he's not going to be playing for the foreseeable future. He's out injured again. I personally like Tiger. I think he's good for the game, so I think it's a bad thing that whenever he's out injured, but from a performer's standpoint, not knowing when you're going to be able to play again, I think that can be quite a frustrating thing. So yeah, not a great situation for Tiger, but it's kind of brought up this argument again about Tiger, like what his physical training has been, and if he's overdone it, and is that the reason why he is always getting injured. And it's quite a complicated situation, and I think you can't really use Tiger and then compare him to players of the past, because the game has moved on. If you read some of Mark Brody's work, he uses ShotLink to kind of look at where players make their gains, how a PGA Tour player can be more successful than other PGA Tour players, and he's found distance is real key. Distance can be the difference between winning and losing, and you can pretend it's not important, but in the modern game, it really is. So you can't go saying, well, you can't go in the gym, and the gym work is very important for the modern golfer. One of the issues with Tiger, though, is you could argue he wasn't quite doing the right stuff, and you could argue that maybe he did get a little bit too big. I saw him in 2005 at St Andrews at the Open, and he was massive. I can remember when he picked his ball out of the hole, his sort of lats just kind of come out. It was as if he had wings. He was like a boxer. He was huge, but he won that event. He was playing well at the time. If you looked at his swing on sort of the slow motion stuff, he certainly didn't have a problem turning. I would say he was turning his shoulders in the backswing as far as anybody else. So again, you can't say, well, is he too big? Because he was still performing brilliantly, performing as well as anybody had done, and he was that size, but he was still turning. So I wouldn't say that he ever got too big. Did he overwork certain joints? Possibly. The problem with his left knee is he used to actually snap that leg. He's always a bit afraid of hitting a snap hook, so that snapping of the leg is to kind of try and pull this club to the left, kind of neutralise that path. So I would say a lot of the issues in his left knee especially has probably come from that snapping, and that was a swing thing, maybe not so much a gym thing. He's in a bit of a pickle. If you I've got a background in biomechanics, or if you speak to anybody who's done like TPI qualifications, having a problem with the knee and the lower back is a massive problem, because it's very hard to protect both. What tends to happen, if you've got a problem area, you might move a bit more in somewhere close. So like if you've got a problem with your hip, maybe you'll move a bit more in the lower legs, or you might move a bit more up in the top, but you'll try and find a way to perform. You'll work somewhere a little more to counteract the bit that maybe you can't move as well. Problem is, when it's a knee and a lower back, it's very hard to protect both. Like when Hank Haney was working with Tiger, he was already working with sort of a bent knee, and that's going to make it maybe harder to release the pelvis, so one might actually hinder the other. So again, the Tiger situation, he's not in a great place physically, plus a nightmare to coach. He's got Chris Como doing a very, very good biomechanist, and I think he's probably the man for the job, but it is a very difficult job. It's finding a way that you can come up with a technique that he can perform under pressure and protect both of his segments, both his knee and his lower back. It's a very difficult thing to do. But another argument that you could put, and this argument doesn't seem to be mentioned that much, is retiring at 40 actually that old? If you think how golf has moved on, it's certainly a power movement, and you have to train to be a power athlete. So maybe we need to now start looking at golfers and comparing them to other power sports. Like Kobe Bryant's just retired, 38. David Beckham retired a couple of years ago, 37, 38. I mean, this is the time when a power athlete is going to start picking up these niggles and is going to have to start thinking about retiring. And it will be really interesting if Tiger is going to be the trend for future players. I mean, you've got McIlroy, put so much load through his body, so dynamic. Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, you've got all these guys, they are athletes, they are power athletes. So it will be interesting to see, is Tiger the first of many? Jason Day as well, the way he separates his hips from his upper body. There's so much power in there, and it's going to wear your body down a little bit. And will it be a trend? When Tiger first came out, and I remember when he won the Masters in '97, people were saying, "Oh, you can't keep swinging like that. Do you mean he's going to have to find a different way to swing?" And he has. In his defence, I mean, his swing has certainly changed through the years. Some things for performance, some things for his health, and actually to allow him to take some load off of the body. But 40 isn't that old if you compare it to other sports. So I'd like to hear what you've got to say on this matter. And do you think this will be a trend? And is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because you could argue as well. And let's go away from golf and go more into sort of football, American football, soccer, all of these more dynamic sports. To make a player like that actually play past 40, you have to take away a lot of the training, and you've got to take away a lot of the risk, a lot of the dynamic movements. Certainly will make the player play longer, but they're probably not going to keep their place in the team very long. And even if you go into these sports and think of people that play into their 40s, tends not to be the quicker, more dynamic ones. You might get like a midfielder who's just sort of running the plays. There's always exceptions to the rule, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's a complicated one, but is it? And that's my question to you, and I'd love to hear what you've got to say. So get some comments down below. Do you think this will be a trend? Because me, from a performance background, and you kind of thinking about what the golf swing is and where it fits into other dynamic sports, you think, well, actually, this could be a trend. This could be a trend. Could just be a sign of how golf has evolved and kind of what is required now in golf to perform at this high elite end and to actually play on tour. And is this now the consequence? If you want to be a tour player, you're not going to have as long a career as maybe guys were getting sort of 15, 20 years ago. I don't know. Get some comments down below. Hope to catch you soon.